Part 4, Refactoring. In this example, we're going to refactor part of our original project scene to make it more device independent. In the VRTK demo scene that we're using, there is a scene changer object and script. In that script, it looks for a trigger pull, a grip press, and a touchpad to determine whether you are switching to the next or previous scene in the application. Semantically, what you really are just saying is, I want to go to the next scene or the previous scene. The physical device or SDK dependent side are which combination of buttons affect that. So what we want to do is separate the application semantic actions from the SDK specific implementation of how that happens. So the first thing we'll do is create a scene changer XR script. In that script, we will write a scene change method and copy the code from the original VRTK version of the script that uses the scene manager to increment or decrement the scene index . We have some checking to make sure it's not out of bounds. And then we call load scene on that index. And then we can add public functions, next scene and previous scene, that calls change scene with 1 or -1. We'll save this file. And then create another script called scene changer VRTK that contains the VRTK specific calls. This one we'll just copy and paste the entire original scene changer, including the namespace. And it's pretty much the same, except we'll first grab the scene changer XR component . And then in the update, instead of actually figuring out the new index and calling load scene, we'll call our scene change XR next scene and previous scene. So what we want to do is conditionally use the scene change VRTK in our app if the current active bridge ID is VRTK. Create an empty object, add this component to it, save it as a prefab. Now we'll create a scene changer object, add the scene changer XR component, and now we will add a BridgeXR component bridge loader. And for VRTK, we will have it use the scene changer VRTK. You can imagine then, for other platforms, like let's say Daydream, you could use a different combination of inputs or even a menu to trigger the next scene, previous scene. To demo this, we can add a few more scenes to our scenes in build. You'll recall we've added some other scenes for the player rigs, so you might want to put a check in the scene changer XR to make sure you're only loading demo scenes and not the bridged player rig scene. But there you have it. we've refactored a component that was very dependent on the VRTK SDK in a way that now that same functionality is supported, but it can be used when bridged to multiple other devices as well. So in this demo, we've shown how you can extend the functionality of your projects using BridgeXR. In this demo, we started with a VRTK demo scene that naturally contains a lot of dependencies on the VRTK toolkit. We refactored the scene to decouple it from the toolkit. When the scene runs, it behaves much like the original one, but now the device-specific objects and components are separated and loaded using BXR bridge loaders. Then we can substitute the VRTK functionality with objects and components from an alternative toolkit. In this case, it was the Daydream Elements SDK, making the app a native Daydream one with no dependency on VRTK. In this way, we can now extend the app to any other platform or device, whether or not it's presently supported by VRTK itself, such as Oculus Go, Magic Leap, or anything else. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial.